I'm going to summarize 2 books for you, The Power of Habit and Atomic Habits. First, I'm going to start with The Power of Habit because Atomic Habits has a lot of The Power of Habit in it. One fundamental thing to know is that Charles Duhhig says you cannot delete or erase a pattern. You can only replace it. In order to build a new habit, we have to replace our old habit with something new. In order to change our habits, we need to know what are the components of the habit. Based on Charles Duhhig, we have 3 components in a habit. Number 1 is cue. Cue is the thing that triggers that urge in you, that make you want something. Second one is reward. Reward is what satisfies that urge. Number 3 is the routine. Routine is the process of consuming that reward. It's the process of satisfying that need. One point that I want to talk about is the peer pressure. If you don't replace the reward, you can not say no when you have peer pressure. If you have bad people around you and they are not really helping you with your new routine, you will easily say yes to them and go back to your bad habits. Make sure that you surround yourself with good people. Charles says in order to change these, you have to find the cues. You have to see what triggers you. There are different options, there are different things that can work as a trigger, can work as a cue. You have to identify the cues of your habit. Make sure to track what you're doing right before you go to, that craving, get that urge to go do the bad habit, the old habit. Make a note of the timing of it and see where you are when you have that feeling. Pay attention to who else is there and also see what you were doing just before that and how you were feeling before that. Maybe you feel, let's talk about a bad habit, for example, having too much ice cream or maybe smoking. You have to pay attention to see what time of the day or what times of the day you crave to smoke, or where you are when you have this feeling, or who else is there, or what do you feel right before you want that, what is that feeling, and what just happened right before that. And make a note of those and find the patterns, find what is happening every day, like when you want to do that bad habit. For example, when you want to smoke, what just happened before that? Keep track of them and find the real cues. Second one is to identify the reward. You have to find out what is that you are really satisfying. What does that bad habit give you? Is it, for example, if you're talking about ice cream, is it because ice cream is cold, or is it because it's sweet, or maybe it's just because you're socializing with other people when you have ice cream, or it's something else. It just gives you some kind of way to escape from something else. You have to identify the reward you're getting. And then the third one is the routine. You have to find the routine that is triggered by the old cue, and it gives you the old reward, but it's just a different routine. So till here is all from The Power of Habit. Let's move on to Atomic Habits. James Clear says, in order to change a routine, in order to make a new behavior, it has to have 4 characteristics. And he calls it 4 laws of behavior change. It has to be easy, obvious, attractive, and satisfying. The cue has to be obvious. You have to find the cue. As Charles says, you have to identify the cue, and you have to make it obvious for yourself. The routine has to be easy. You have to make it as easy as possible. And one point here is that the only hard part of any new behavior or any change is the first few steps. So you just make the first new steps easy, and after that you're good to go. You have to make it easy to the point that it's easier to go forward with it instead of going backward. The reward has to be attractive and satisfying. If it's something like not really good, it's not gonna stick to your mind. You're not gonna crave that reward anymore. So make sure it is attractive and satisfying. And at the end, James gives us 2 strategies to change our behavior. One of them is stack and start, which means you stack some new behavior on top of an old one. Let me explain more. We already have this. So we already know that after flushing, when we go to the bathroom after flushing, we know we have to wash our hands, and that's what we do. We don't even think about it. It became one for us when we were kids. They told us and we learned it, and it's done. It's like that forever. Or flossing your teeth. Like, you know that after brushing you have to floss, or opposite, like if you floss first then you brush. If they become one, they become like one habit. So if you want to create a new habit, you have to make it like a one habit. So find something that you already do and attach or stack something on top of that. For example, you want to exercise, like you already, like when you wake up in the morning, you have a routine. Find a portion of that routine that you can stack. For example, changing your clothes on that, like, or like playing music to, start exercising. Just find an old habit, find a good habit that you have already, and it's very easy and obvious to you, because that would be the new cue for you, and then add something, stack something on top of that. Basically, what we use here is the momentum. We are using the momentum that we have to add something on top of that, and use this momentum to go up the hill, or just add this new habit to our daily routine. I want to point out that the first few steps of any routine is the hardest part. So make sure that you're making that part the easiest possible. Do the portion that is easier to proceed instead of going back. The second strategy is sync and score. So you have to find a way to sync 2 things and then score something. So for example, you say, I only can get this if I do that. So if I exercise today, I can watch TV. So one example that he has here, he talks about this guy that he really likes to watch Netflix, but he wants to also exercise and create a habit out of it. So he connects his Netflix, his laptop to Netflix and his bike, and he can watch Netflix while he's pedaling. If he stops or slows down, he cannot watch it. That Netflix will pause. So this is the perfect example. You can find something and make it like a rule for yourself. I can just eat this protein bar if I go to the gym. Like, whatever you like, just add that reward to the end of a habit. And that way it will be attractive and satisfying. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you create great new habits for yourself. And please make sure to subscribe to my account and leave me a comment below. Let me know how you think and what bad behaviors you want to change. And if you have done that already, you change some stuff in your daily routine, let me know. I really like to hear that. Thank you so much. Bye.